All right, what is going on, everyone? I am Braxton, and this is BWC Racing. This is LCQ, the Yukon Full Send Shootout during Trail Hero. Just finished up the We Rock at Trail Hero. This is a little backwards, as LCQ was on Tuesday, We Rock was on Friday, but I figure we'll put the more exciting thing at the end of the postings from Trail Hero. Now, the way that this event worked is there were 6 gates. Gates is relative, but gates is what I'm going to call them. They're the 6 Yukon flags. This one is worth 70. The one to the right of it is worth 70. And then in the center, there is 100, a 50, and then a path down, and then a 200-point one up to the right. And then around, there's another 50. And that is the 6 gates. And it is highest points wins. There aren't reverses. It is almost Trailbreaker style. There is no spotters. Obviously, you could have listened to people outside, but for the most part, wasn't worth it. I'm doing a 71, which is you go in and you flip all the way around. I will be keeping track of my points on here to sort of give you a insight to where I am. Now, this one, you didn't get the points until you were all the way back out of the crack through that direction. And I also want to thank Carbon Offroad winches for the footage. They were out here from Australia to come and be at Trail Hero. Pretty awesome getting to meet them. Hung out with them on Monday as well throughout the weekend at Vendor Show. Highly recommend their stuff. They released a new 8K winch at Trail Hero, which is a more buggy focused winch where it is a short drum with lots of torque. Now back into the car itself. It was built by Naozumi in Japan in 2024. It was shipped over for 2024 Trail Hero and has been here since. Now, the only events it has competed in is the We Rock at Trail Hero, and then this LCQ. It's been sitting in a trailer since then, just out of preference from Naozumi, and I don't want to drive it in We Rock. I wouldn't mind doing more events like this or like Texas Top Gun in a single seat, but I wouldn't do competitive rock crawling in a single seat. I just prefer Pro Mod. Yeah. Now, a little bit about the car. It is on Jesse's portals, obviously. It's got the Patagonias, the stickies, as well as Summit Machine links, Raceline wheels, the 20-inch Avengers. This one is on Fox shocks, the 2.0s. And it is the Trail Gear full hydro system, front and rear. And then it has a Kaiser Locker in the front, which is actually super cool. And I noticed it a few times when I was using it. When I would go into rear only and you hold that front cutter, it would roll back nice and pivot quite nicely. It has an ARB in the rear, just out of simplicity, what everyone uses. And then it is a Mitsubishi 4G63. It's a 12-valve gasser that makes 400 horsepower to the wheels. Kind of crazy. Has a lot of horsepower for what it is. And I didn't have a whole bunch of time. I had about 30 hours in the car total. Like, that's all the practice I got. I found out like 2 weeks before LCQ that I was in LCQ. Well, that I was allowed to drive the car in LCQ. I knew it was an LCQ when they did the drawing, which I'm not sure how long before that was. I think I found that out like 2 weeks after the Dayton, Tennessee We Rock event. But yeah, other than that, this gate right here was it was an interesting gate because turns out this is part of Failbreaker, the 2nd or 3rd year Trailbreaker, where you would go in this crack and you went up to the right. And quite a few people actually broke in here. Both Melchners broke in here. One lost a ring and pinion, the other lost their steering system. I'm not sure what else happened, but as you can see here, I'm rolling it over on purpose. This was my plan from the beginning, was to roll it on its side in that crack and let it drive itself out. Didn't have any real issues. It got real bindy right there, but other than that, I mean, it sort of just kept moving. Going into rear only right there to try to debind the rear end of the car, obviously. Just because I don't want to break anything, so I took my time in there. About 5 minutes through that gate. We have 15 minutes total to get through as many as we can for points. Now, the original idea was going up there, do that other 70, but little Charlie was coming down it. So I spun around, and I will end up having to wait for Brandon Perdue a little bit before I'm able to get to the next obstacle. Now, I do want to say a big congrats to Brandon Perdue because he did win Trailbreaker and overall at LCQ. I'm not going to lie, I knew he was a hardcore trail wheeler with like the Dickies and all those guys and the G-Spec guys. Same with Christian Bassi. He placed second in LCQ. So I just want to give big congrats to those guys. It was quite impressive. Chris Bassi, he's been in LCQs and breakers before. Still haven't won one, but still one hell of a driver. Now we're coming up here. We're just going to work on getting through this first crack here, which really, and it's not really that hard of a crack. It's possible to be hard. Now we're going up this 50 line right here, which I'm not going to lie to you guys, spent way too much time on. I don't know why it didn't want to bite that great. I had to bring my rear all the way back over to get it to come up the thing here. As of right now, we are at 70 points, which isn't terrible, but we're just going to keep moving along here. Now, this is pretty much the line for where it needs to be. I bring my rear back too soon, which I should have known that. Again, bring it back too soon. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. It shouldn't have taken this long. I don't know why it was kicking my butt so hard or why it was hopping so much, but getting it there. We're gonna come around, drop down by this Trail Hero banner off to the right. This was a pretty sick little area just in general for an event. I look forward to seeing where else we can get for Rich. Lifting a tire there, I'm not sure why. My assumption is torque. I put it in front only just because, to be safe. And I mean, I want front only coming around this turn anyways. And then I'll put it back in rear only, and we're going to go up the 100-point crack off the left, which is another one of those where it's worth 100 points. And I've heard that it's a pretty difficult line. But with the rear steer, I mean, it really wasn't that bad. Grabbing across pretty slow here this way, I'm comfortable in the car. But as you'll see here, it's just finite work. It's not like, I don't know. There's possibility for big messing up. But I think if you're patient enough, it shouldn't be too big of an issue. And if you know not to drive underneath yourself, the crack really isn't that big of a deal. We're just sort of working it up. We're gonna bring our rear back a little bit. This way it hits that wall and just sort of climbs right up it. And there's a little dip there on the driver's side that you follow with your front, and it sort of just cruises on up. Gonna do this gate about the same amount of time as I did the 50 gate. So, not sure what that says, but yeah, I just work those tires, let them grip, and up it goes. Very precise and very smooth. I'm not trying to rush it. I was just letting it do its own thing, and it just walked right up it. Now at this point, we have about 3 minutes. And after getting through that gate, we're sitting at about 220 points, which isn't too shabby. Now, I do think that I should have gone as we come around and go down, I'm going to spend the rest of my time, as I get told I get about 3 to 2 minutes left when I get to the bottom. I'm going to spend my time on the big 200 gate. I wanted to put tires on it to see what it would do and what it would feel like. Simply out of curiosity, I guess is the word. Going back into front only here, just out of, again, habit. I don't know, there's no real reason that I needed to do that, but it keeps that tight turn nice and tight. Now, the way that I do my back off here is I sweep my rear around and drop it into rear only, turn my rear all the way to the passenger. Technically, it's the driver. I was looking at the tip of the tire. But we're gonna just burn it on around here using that front cutting brake to let that car pivot. Now we're gonna throw the front back in gear. More. And then we'll drop down, bringing the rear back to the passenger, pretty much just straight this way. You don't really have to worry about it. Going into front only so you don't get rim locked when you come off of it. Still fighting the rim there for a little bit. And then it's going to get weird and binding. It's going to lift that rear tire there on the passenger side. Not sure why it did that, really. My assumption is rim lock. But now we're going back into front and then back into 4 because it broke that pressure loose and evened the car out. Now you're going to follow it off to the left, off to the right. My apologies. And then everything will come down pretty smooth. It's not terrible. And then after getting told I have about 2 minutes left, I say, why not, and try this big line. But unfortunately, we won't be able to get up it, leaving us at 220 points. This put me in 10th place, 1 away from the last round. However, Matt Dickey broke his car, so I was therefore put into 9th place. And after 9th place, I ran my second round. I don't have footage for that, unfortunately. I did the exact same, 220 points. Could I have done better? Yeah, probably. Should I have done better? Yeah, probably. But it is what it is. And that put us in 8th place. 8 out of 18 drivers. I will take that. Out of 18 big name drivers. I was 1 runner-up away from being in Trailbreaker, as Logan Backus got in at 7th place because Kayla Fredden couldn't make it to Trail Hero this year. But yeah, it was quite the event. I really like this style of event. I'm excited to see what events start popping up that are like this. I'm not sure what my options for competing in them are. Probably not until I can build my own car. We'll see what happens. Maybe it's something I can talk to Naozumi about. But until then, a little bit more footage here of me trying to work it up this. But I hope y'all enjoyed. If so, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.